My Coronavirus Lockdown Diary. Week 1, Day 4. The plague came so fast that in the beginning it was hard to believe it was actually real. One week Trump was calling it a hoax, and the following Monday most of civilization was shutting down. The pathogen was given free rein to rage through our species. It was the great weeding. Capitalism has crashed and burned, and there is nothing to take care of us now. The tax breaks and corporations took it all away. The Republicans scatter like roaches, but it is too late now. Their damage is done. Don't brag about locking doors when the murderer is already in the house. It doesn't matter what ideas we are spitting out when we are spitting up actual phlegm. Both good and evil will die from this. The dumb germ can't read your resume. It doesn't care if you earn that medal. We are caught in the jaws of an invisible hunger. It's the zombie apocalypse, and the zombies who are killing us are our loved ones and best friends, or just faceless strangers we pass some vague place in our lives. Breathing is reserved for the lucky. Week 2, Day 3. From Monday's White House coronavirus news briefing. The president points to a reporter. "You, sir," he says. The man stands. "Joe Blow from Fox News, sir," he says. "Sir, you're just such a great and amazing president that do you mind if we dispense with the usual questions and I just come up and tongue your rectum for a couple minutes on live television? Republican pollster Frank Luntz has done extensive focus group research that proves that's the kind of behavior that causes Trump supporters to spontaneously ejaculate in their overalls. It's about time we showed the fake news what real news looks like," the president said as he unbuckled his pants. By the end of the 2-minute rim job that ensued, every reporter in the press room had projectile vomited on the person in front of them. The ass-sucking so loosened the president's bowels that he took a huge shit on the stage. His turds were bright orange. Then in front of the already horrified reporters, he began squealing like a rabid gibbon monkey as he grabbed up handfuls of his crap and flung them at the reporters until they fled from the room in terror. In one of the front rows, a female reporter had fainted. Trump raped her. The next day, his approval ratings among registered Republicans went up to 130%, the highest ratings in polling history. Evangelicals gave especially high marks to the rape portion of the president's performance, which they said best personified the leadership traits they look for in an elected official. Future Republicans will demand that his face be put on the dollar bill. Week 4, Day 2. I put on my bank robber mask and went to the bank to get some money. When I got to the bank, there were 20 other bank robbers waiting in line to get in. Everyone was very polite. We all just put on our best bank robber face because we're all in the same stick-up gang together. Week 4, Day 5. Trump is probably going to fire Dr. Fauci so he can hire Ted Nugent in his place. Then Ted can swing into the daily news briefings on a vine while Catch Scratch Fever plays. The ratings will be through the roof. Week 5, Day 1. If you're the type of person who plans things, you're going completely insane. There is no future, only an eternal now. Day 2. It's probably best if you don't think about the future. Day 3. Do we have a future? Week 6, Day 2. Trump supporters, it's time to give us libs the ultimate schooling and prove once and for all who's the fake news. Screw Fauci. It's time to prove that the real medical geniuses are Hannity and Trump. So take to the streets in maskless numbers that will dwarf the women's rally, and don't just hug and kiss, but spit in each other's mouths and gargle that shit before you swallow it down. What's the worst that could happen? God's looking out for you, and you're not going to let a bunch of lib media lies keep you out of Applebee's. Because if you can't go out and get a big plate of bacon, then shit's gotten real and the socialists have won. So school me, Trumpies, school me. Let your asshole flag fly and march in the streets and die for your savior, Donald Trump. When they intubate you, just think of it as another way of giving me the finger. See you in the ICU. Marca. Week 6, Day 3. This is not about hearts and minds. It's about lungs. There are no political solutions for this situation, only medical ones. Week 7, Day 1. I'm thinking of starting a new Facebook challenge. If you could pick one person you wish would die from the coronavirus, who would it be? I personally can't decide between Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell. We could call it something positive like the Karma Challenge. Week 7, Day 2. Who was that unmasked man? Week 7, Day 4. I came up with a new coronavirus lockdown cocktail, the Lib Schooler. It's 1 glass of Mr. Clean mixed with 2 shots of grain alcohol. You can serve it in an extra large martini glass with a Jolly Rancher instead of an olive floating in it. A couple of these will cure whatever ails you. Week 8, Day 2. As soon as the shutdown ends, every Democrat in the country should go out and buy an AK-47 and a bulletproof vest. Then we should have a big march on Washington, something really big, like the size of the Women's March. During the march, we can storm into the Senate building while they are in session. We'll be in the aisles and balconies screaming, "Lock them up!" while under our watchful eyes and loaded weapons, Mitch McConnell can give trillions more to corporations and billionaires while absolving them of any legal liabilities as he yanks the rug out from under the working man and middle class by getting rid of health care and ending unemployment payments while he lets their states go bankrupt. We'll be the perfect audience to do that in front of. I don't see why any of the Republicans and Fox News would have a problem with this. Trump himself says people like us are very good people, and we're just having a Second Amendment rally. Manifesto. Their taste for reality is an evil sound. It eats all the lies and shits truth behind. It is the fires burning in dictators' eyes, the gallows that will soon hang them, the horror beneath all the masks. It marks us all like a terrible birthmark, a tattoo made with the ink of our darkest memories. It's the black hole lurking in the darkest corner of our soul. Watch it fan the flames of anger like a sick gasoline for justice.